Hello, my name is Caitlin Kaiser, and I'm a teacher here on Outschool. I wanted to take a moment to explain some of the different types of classes that we have on our platform because sometimes it can be a little bit confusing to know exactly what type of class you're creating and also what type of class you might be enrolling in. So the most popular type of class on the platform is a one-time class. These classes occur just one time with a single group of students, and the most important thing to know as a teacher is that the material covered in these one-time classes should be able to be understood in just a single class. You don't want your materials to be building upon each other. So one-time classes are really excellent for families who are new to Outschool or families who might be new to you as a teacher because it allows them to kind of test drive you. It allows them to see you teaching. It allows them to see if your style of teaching clicks with their learner. It's a really, really great way for people new to Outschool to try out a class without necessarily making some huge financial contribution, without putting out a bunch of money for some other types of classes that might cost a little bit more. So one-time classes are generally what new teachers are kind of suggested to begin with because they're the easiest to put together. And again, a lot of families really enjoy taking those one-time classes. The next type of class is a multi-meeting class. So multi-meeting classes are exactly as they sound. These classes meet over several weeks. Sometimes they might meet just 2 or 3 weeks, and sometimes they might meet for an entire semester, 12 to 16 weeks. It really just depends on what you're trying to create and what type of class you're teaching. So this material should build upon itself. You should be teaching an entire series of courses. So for example, if you're a history teacher, you could make a multi-meeting class that's an entire semester of U.S. political science. I'm not sure. I don't teach history in that capacity. But that type of thing. These are the type of classes that you might teach in a traditional public school environment. Now, families enroll in an entire section in a multi-meeting class. So they sign up to be there for the entire 16 weeks, or maybe just 3 or 4 weeks if you're someone like me who prefers those smaller multi-meeting classes. So this is a really great opportunity for you to kind of dig deep into a topic with your students, to really get to know them as people, and also for them to get to know each other. A lot of students, especially my teenagers, love these multi-meeting classes because they get to kind of build a classroom environment, the same way as students in a public school or a homeschool co-op would be able to build. So multi-meeting classes are pretty popular as well. Now, a type of live class that I really enjoy teaching is the ongoing class. These ones are probably the most confusing, especially for teachers new to the platform. These classes should meet weekly. Usually it's just once a week. I've seen a few people with ongoing classes who meet maybe 2 or 3 times a week. But the biggest thing is that the material should not build upon itself in an ongoing class. Families are able to drop in and out of ongoing sections as regularly as they want. So maybe they only want to take one class with you and they want to take this one that's in an ongoing format. They sign up for class, they come to class on Wednesday, and then they unenroll on Thursday and they're not going to join you the next week. So because of that, you have to be really conscious of the materials in the class and make sure that they're not building upon each other. You don't want a student to pop into your ongoing class in week 4 and be terribly confused because they weren't here on week 1 and week 2. Ongoing classes are awesome. I love them. Again, they're one of my favorite types of classes to teach because you do get to just see a lot of new faces each week, and that's really exciting. But for some teachers, that might not be something you want. You might want to know exactly who's going to be in your class each week before you go into it. Now, a type of class that is very beloved to me, I suppose I should say, but one that is definitely kind of confusing to understand is the flexible schedule class. Now, flexible schedule classes don't meet live. Instead, all of the instruction is done entirely asynchronously. You don't have any live meetings where you are meeting with all of your students together and teaching them. Instead, you have to kind of create your own content to teach. So, for example, for my flex schedule classes, I film several small kind of video lectures. I usually space them out, though. I don't sit down and do a 40 or 50-minute lecture because if I was a student, that's not something I would want. And then I also have to find some extra materials. So I usually make a YouTube playlist for my flex schedule classes where I put all of my stuff together and kind of put it in the order that I would expect students to sit down and watch, sit down and listen to. I also create handouts. I sometimes create listening guides. I usually offer video transcripts for students who might be hard of hearing or deaf. So there's a lot of work that goes into flexible schedule classes. These are absolutely not just a quick money maker and just a way to sit down and do all of this stuff and then be done with it. Usually the materials in flex schedule classes, you have to create all of those before you start teaching your class, right? You need to be able to have weeks worth of materials. But once you're done with those materials, you are kind of done with the content creation of your class. So that's a really nice aspect of it. However, you're not done with the class entirely. You still have to go in and interact with your students weekly. You have to encourage them to interact with each other. Flexible schedule classes also have some very strict requirements from Outschool to ensure that everyone's having a good learning experience. So I'll go ahead and link an article from the support center that explains that style of class a little bit more for anybody who might be interested in teaching it. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it kind of cleared up any questions that you might have, and I hope that you have an awesome rest of your week. Bye, everyone.